Discovering the hidden truth: how a bank manager exposed my daughter's life-changing secret. Every day was a whirlwind for Sarah, the single mother hustling at the local diner in their small Midwestern town. The smell of fresh coffee and bacon filled the air as she scrubbed plates, her hands worn yet committed. Her heart ached for her daughter, Lily, who had a talent hidden deep within. A talent that often echoed through their tiny house, but never saw the light of day. Sarah dreamed of a future where Lily would flourish, away from the limiting expectations of their community. But the weight of economic struggles felt like a ton of bricks on her shoulders. On a warm Tuesday afternoon, as Sarah poured coffee into chipped mugs, the diner buzzed with the usual chatter. Mr. Thompson, the esteemed bank manager who had weathered wars and storms, unexpectedly walked in. His presence cast a spell over the room. Whispers of admiration followed him like shadows. The townspeople admired him, revered even. But when he casually leaned over the counter and mentioned hearing Lily sing, a strange mix of horror and hope flooded Sarah's heart. "She has something special," he said, eyes sparkling with belief. For a split second, time seemed to slow. Did someone as remarkable as Mr. Thompson just say her daughter had talent? The warmth in his voice clashed violently with her icy fears. Exposing Lily to judgment felt like standing her on the edge of a cliff. What if they laughed? What if her daughter, so shy and sweet, crumpled under the spotlight? As anticipation for a local talent show electrified the town, neighbors rallied behind Sarah and Lily. Conversations crackled with excitement, yet Sarah felt cornered. It was practically a cliffhanger leading right to a potential disaster. "You should let her perform, Sarah." They coaxed, but each word only heightened her anxiety. Finally, she relented, seeing Lily's wide, hopeful eyes sparkling under the diner lights. She couldn't crush that spirit, but the moment of truth arrived with a heavy silence that swallowed Sarah whole. As Lily stood on that stage during the talent show, it wasn't the pristine notes that flared from her lips but a trembling whisper that echoed back in silence. The audience froze. The crickets chirped louder than Lily's voice, trembling with fear. In that thick, suffocating moment, everything Sarah dreaded crystallized: a heartrending failure. Defeat washed over her like cold water, freezing her heart. All her nightmares came to life, and she thought she could never redeem this moment for Lily. But then, she witnessed something incredible. Neighbors started gathering at their doorstep, sharing stories of their own vulnerabilities and history. They embraced Lily, forming a small circle of warmth and encouragement that felt like home. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With workshops blooming across town, support surged like fire in a dry field. Laughter mingled with the music that began to seep into their lives. Sarah felt the shift in the air, pulling at her resolve. The connection between mother and daughter grew stronger, and slowly, she began to confront her own fears. The community wasn't judging. They were lifting each other. Yet, was she ready to toss away her fears and trust that Lily could chase her dreams, regardless of their tight-knit small-town-esque expectations? As they took on another opportunity to shine together, a mix of hopes and fears hung heavily in the air. How would they rise from the ashes of failure, or would they remain bound by the weight of societal judgment? The stage was set not just for Lily, but for Sarah too, nudging both towards a monumental transformation. And so, they perched on the edge of hope, waiting to leap into the unknown. Days rolled into weeks, and each morning brought a heavy mix of anticipation and dread. Sarah felt a newfound energy as she watched Lily immerse herself in the world of music. Laughter and song floated through their home, creating an atmosphere of possibility, yet Sarah's heart remained tight with anxiety. The talent show felt like a distant memory, but the echoes of that moment, a fragile whisper on stage, haunted her thoughts. One evening, they sat at the dinner table, a small pile of spaghetti placed between them. The smell of garlic and tomato filled the air, but Sarah could hardly taste the meal. Instead, she watched Lily twirl her fork, a smile plastered on her face, as if she were planning her next big escape into that world of melody. "Mom," Lily piped up, breaking the silence. "What if we create our own song?" Her eyes sparkled with excitement, unaware of the weight pressing on Sarah's chest. The thought trickled through Sarah's mind. Could they really craft something beautiful together? Would it shatter the walls Sarah had built around her daughter? Together? She asked, cautiously. "Yeah. I've been practicing on the guitar. We can write about anything." Lily beamed as though the idea ignited a fire within her. The weight of the question loomed large. What if they tried and failed again? But when Sarah looked into Lily's hopeful face, she found herself fading away. Her fears were retreating slowly, bit by bit, like shadows in the light. "All right," she replied finally, her voice barely above a whisper. "Let us do it." Days turned into a flurry of creativity. They laughed, cried, and argued over lyrics while clashing melodies. Turning their living room into a makeshift studio, Lily strummed her guitar, her face scrunched in concentration as she worked over the chords. Sarah found herself singing along, words flowing freely, reflecting the bond growing between them. In those moments, it felt as though they were crafting not just a song, but a bridge to something bigger. However, as their deadline approached for the new community event, a fundraising concert for the local park, Sarah was hit with a wave of doubt. What if it's terrible? What if no one likes it? She fretted aloud one evening. Lily paused, her expression defiant yet soft. "Mom, it doesn't matter what they think. It only matters that we tried." Her words struck Sarah deeply, piercing through the fear that had become her armor. With the date looming, the pair took the stage at the concert, feeling more like explorers than performers, their hearts racing together. They stood before an audience that held the mirror to their tiny town, embodying both hope and judgment. Sarah's hand shook as she held the mic, her depths of uncertainty rushing back, but Lily squeezed her hand tightly, grounding her. As their song began to flow, the crowd leaned in, faces bright with interest. The initial strums of the guitar echoed, and for the first time since that fateful talent show, Sarah felt something shift inside her. But then, as they reached the song's peak, she glanced at the crowd, and uncertainty began to bubble again. What if they fell flat? Suddenly, the stakes felt impossibly high. Would they find a way to soar together, or was this another chance for failure? With her heart pounding and fear creeping back, Sarah took a deep breath, ready to plunge into the unknown once more. And just then, as the final notes echoed and silence enveloped them, a voice rang out from the back of the crowd, "Bravo! That was beautiful." But was it really just a random act of kindness, or was there something deeper in what lay ahead? The applause erupted like a wave crashing against the shore. Sarah stood frozen for a heartbeat, her eyes scanning the crowd, searching for signs that they truly enjoyed the song. A few familiar faces from the neighborhood beamed back at her, eyes glistening with pride. Lily, however, didn't wait for confirmation. She jumped off the stage, exhilaration written all over her face. "Did you hear that, Mom? They really liked it." She squealed, practically bouncing on her feet. Sarah felt warmth wash over her, mingling with the remnants of her fear. "I think they did," she responded, a smile breaking through her anxious facade. But deep within, something twisted, a whisper of doubt that trailed her like a shadow. As they walked off the stage, Sarah could sense a shift in the energy around them. Everywhere she looked, people animatedly discussed the performance. Some approached them, their compliments pouring forth like golden streams. Yet amid the joy, Sarah battled a question that gnawed at her mind. Were they praising the music, or simply the effort? Did it even matter? Lily's face glowed with excitement, clearly fueled by the moment. "Can you believe it? We should do this all the time. We can write songs about everything, about the people we meet and the feelings we have. She flung her arms wide, practically bursting with dreams. Yeah, that sounds amazing, Sarah replied, but the enthusiasm felt distant. She forced herself to smile, pushing those nagging doubts to the back of her mind. As they returned home, the warmth of the evening lingered, but it could not eradicate the flicker of anxiety still lingering in Sarah's heart. The song was just a part of a larger journey. What if they were led down a path of expectations? She tried to shake it off, reminding herself of Lily's unwavering spirit. The next morning, Sarah awoke with a newfound determination. "Let us write another song today, Lily," she declared at breakfast. "Really?" Lily's eyes sparkled once more. "Right now? Why not? Let us keep the momentum going." They dove into their writing with fervor, laughter ringing through the house as they constructed melodies and lyrics. But as they transitioned into the afternoon, Sarah felt a tug at her heart. Something was simmering in her mind, a lingering thought waiting to break free. "Lily," she began cautiously, "what if we performed for other places? You know, beyond just our town." "Like what?" Lily asked, pausing from her guitar strumming, a frown knitted on her brow. "Maybe we could look for open mic nights in nearby cities or even try to enter some local competitions." Lily's brow furrowed further. "But what if they don't like us? What if we're not good enough?" Sarah swallowed the lump in her throat and gripped her daughter's hand. "We can't let fear hold us back. We've come this far," she urged. "This could be our chance to share our story together." Lily stared at her for a long moment, and just when doubt began to shadow her face, she nodded slowly. "Okay. Together." From that moment, a plan was hatched, a flicker of hope dancing in unison with their fears. They spent days rehearsing, poring over their song, enhancing it with echoes of their laughter and inspiration from everything they had witnessed. But as that glow of excitement built, a sudden message buzzed through Sarah's phone. A notification from the bank where she had a small account showed an unscheduled withdrawal that immediately covered her with a sense of dread. What was happening? The previous nights of joy melted away, and she felt anxiety seep through the cracks of her budding creativity. Had something deeper been concealed all along, something even she hadn't seen? She glanced at Lily, whose excitement remained untouched, but the juxtaposition of her daughter's joy and the blaring notification made her heart race. What was she missing? Sarah took a deep breath. "We have to go to the bank this afternoon. Something's not right." Could this turn of events shatter the fragile bridge they had built through their music? Or could it reveal a hidden truth that would bind them closer? Together. The afternoon sun streamed through the windows as Sarah and Lily walked into the bank, the air thick with a mix of hope and dread. Lily skipped ahead, her fingers dancing over the strings of her guitar, unaware of the storm brewing in her mother's heart. It felt like a cruel twist, the joy of their performance and the bittersweet joy of their newfound bond cluttered by a dark cloud that lingered just above them. As they approached the teller, Sarah's stomach knotted tightly. "Hi, can I help you?" The teller greeted them with a bright smile that felt at odds with Sarah's rising anxiety. "Yes, I need to ask about an unexpected withdrawal from my account," Sarah stammered, trying to keep her voice steady. The teller nodded, her professionalism unwavering. She clicked away at her computer, but all Sarah could hear was her heartbeat thudding in her ears. It was hard to shake the feeling that whatever she uncovered could change everything. It looks like there was an automatic transfer set up on your account," the teller began, glancing at Sarah with a hint of empathy. "Do you recall authorizing that, ma'am?" A wave of confusion washed over Sarah. "No, I didn't set up any transfers." But her voice trailed off as she felt a pang of anxiety pulse anew. What did that even mean? The telltale signs of her panic began to rise. Lily, sensing the tension, stepped in closer. "Mom. What's wrong?" she asked, her bright demeanor dimming, concern etching its way onto her youthful face. "Nothing, sweetie," Sarah replied, forcing a smile. "Just a misunderstanding." The teller continued to explain the situation, but Sarah's mind was racing. Automatic transfers. Why wasn't she aware of anything like that? She felt like she was chasing shadows of financial burdens she didn't know existed. Let me check with my manager to see if we can trace the source of the transfer, the teller suggested, disappearing behind a door marked manager. Silence filled the air, thick and heavy. While Lily began to strum a soft tune on her guitar, Sarah's heart bombarded her with questions. Was it something they had spent frivolously? Had Lily's temporary buzz of success led her to overlook these hidden details? Did this signal the start of trouble, or worse, would it push them apart? Moments felt like hours until the manager finally emerged, a tall woman with a warm smile that momentarily calmed Sarah's nerves. "Hi there, I'm Nancy," she said, her voice soothing. "I wanted to help unravel this." Nancy's next words, however, tore the fragile calm apart. "I've looked into your transfers, Sarah. They appear linked to a company claiming to be a non-profit for young artists. They've charged your account several times in recent months." "What?" Sarah blurted, shocked. She felt the color drain from her face. "I never signed up for any such thing." "Exactly. It seems like there might have been an error, or worse, someone could have taken your information and signed you up without your permission," Nancy explained gently, furrowing her brows. "We can investigate further and block any future charges, but it's essential you act quickly." Panic surged within Sarah, catching her off guard. Could this be the hidden truth she had sensed? The realization that someone had exploited her trust for their gain hit her like a punch. Her fingers trembled as she wanted to reach for Lily, to keep her safe from all this chaos. Holding her daughter's gaze, she saw the innocence still shining there. Lily, what could she tell her? How could she explain a world full of such unfairness and deceit? In that moment, Sarah recognized something primal in her, an unyielding determination to shield her daughter from the weight of this storm, to keep the music alive. But could she really protect her from everything? With the enormity of that thought settling deep in her chest, she turned back to the manager. "Can we stop the transactions? And how do I protect us from this in the future?" "Of course, we can get started right away. But, may I ask? With everything coming to light, have you considered how this affects your recent performances? Having some unexpected challenges can bring new material to your songs." Nancy's words caught Sarah's breath. "What if we turn this into something real? Something that can transform not just our music, but our lives?" She whispered to herself. "Mom." Lily's voice broke through the fog of her thoughts, concern mingled with curiosity. "What if," Sarah said slowly, her heart picking up speed again. "What if we channel these experiences into our music? Maybe we can write about this struggle, make it a part of our story." But in that moment of inspiration, a deeper unease coiled in her. What if they were unprepared for what lay ahead? Turning her gaze back to Lily, she felt torn between soaring ambition and the fear of what this journey could truly bring to their lives. Did they have the strength to tackle it all together? And as those questions swirled around her like a dizzying storm, another sudden notification pinged on her phone, cutting through the tension. What would this new development reveal? Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as she glanced at her phone. The notification read, "New message from Lisa." Lisa was an old friend from high school, one she hadn't spoken to in years. Curiosity mingled with apprehension. What could Lisa want now? "Mom, who's Lisa?" Lily asked, still holding her guitar. The innocence in her voice made Sarah's heart ache. "Just an old friend," Sarah replied, her voice faltering a bit. She opened the message, her heart racing as she scrolled through words that felt more like a punch than a reunion. "Hey, Sarah. Just wanted to let you know I saw something strange regarding your account. It's connected to a group I've been involved with. They're exploiting people, especially artists, and I think you might be in trouble. Call me if you need help." Panic swirled in Sarah's stomach. Exploiting artists? Her mind immediately flashed to the nonprofit associated with those mysterious transactions. How was Lisa involved? Mom. Lily's voice pulled her back. What's wrong? Sarah swallowed, trying to mask her fear. It's nothing. Just an old friend reaching out. She needed to stay calm, but her hands shook. Let's finish here first. Nancy returned, having swiftly dealt with the bank's protocol. I've initiated a block on your account for any further unauthorized charges, she said, her tone reassuring. But I recommend that you stay vigilant. I can also guide you with more resources on how to protect yourself. Thank you, Sarah breathed, relief washing over her. Yet the knot in her stomach remained. With every minute that passed, she felt as though she was leaving something important unsaid, unexamined. The urge to talk to Lisa, to dive deeper into this mess, was almost overwhelming. Mom, can we go? I want to try out that new song, Lily chirped, glancing warmly at her. Yes, of course. Sarah forced a smile, she needed to keep the joy alive in her daughter. They started heading towards the exit, but the weight of tension still lingered. Hey, Mom, Lily's voice was sweet yet determined. If we write a song about this, can it make a difference? Absolutely, honey, Sarah replied, but inside, she felt a battle brewing. She wanted to shield Lily from this growing storm, but what if their music could help others? As they walked out, the afternoon sun seemed almost harsh against the swirling chaos in Sarah's mind. Did she have the courage to face this and transform it into something beautiful? Could she address the underlying issues without crumbling under the weight of it all? Mom. Lily's voice broke through again, serious now. What if it's more than just a song? What if it's about standing up for ourselves against people who take advantage? Sarah's heartbeat quickened at the thought. I guess we'll find out. They reached the parking lot, and just as she reached for her keys, Sarah's phone buzzed again. New message from Lisa. With each pulse of her heart, dread crept closer. What more did she want to tell her? Whatever it was, it seemed to put the stakes higher than Sarah had ever imagined. Taking a breath, she tapped the message open. What lay inside could change everything. Would it offer hope or an even darker revelation? Sarah's fingers trembled as she opened the message from Lisa. The screen lit up, revealing the words that felt like a weight pressing down on her chest. Sarah, listen carefully. They might be watching your every move. You need to be careful. Meet me at that cafe we used to go to. I can explain everything. Trust me. Her heart raced. Mom, who is it? Lily asked, her curiosity piqued again. The innocence in her voice stung, just like before. It's nothing, sweetheart, Sarah replied, trying desperately to sound calm. But every instinct in her screamed to know more, to understand what was happening. What did Lisa know? Was it about the nonprofit? Or something even more dangerous? Can we just go home? Lily asked, concern creeping into her voice. The girl shifted her weight, hugging her guitar tightly against her chest. Sure, yes, let us go home, Sarah mumbled, but the urgency to respond to Lisa pulled at her, gnawing away at her peace. The drive back was filled with silence, each glance at the road ahead amplified her racing thoughts. Once they were home, Sarah turned to Lily. How about we practice that song you wanted to try? Lily nodded but her eyes showed uncertainty. Okay, but, you look really worried, Mom. Are you sure everything is fine? I'm fine, sweetie. Just a lot on my mind, Sarah forced a smile, wishing she could hide the turmoil swirling within. They moved to the living room, set up the music stand, and started playing. The first chord strummed filled the air, lightening the mood ever so slightly. But even as they played, the weight of Lisa's message loomed over Sarah like a storm cloud. Mom. Lily sang, her small voice breaking into a melody that shimmered like sunlight on water. What if we wrote about being strong? About sticking together? Tears prickled at the corners of Sarah's eyes, her daughter's words resonated. Yes, Lily, that's beautiful. That's exactly what we could do. As they wrote, an idea took root in Sarah's mind. What if the music could become a beacon of hope? What if they could reach out not just to each other, but to others who might face similar struggles? She felt the shadows within her begin to shift. There was power in sharing, in confronting the fears together. In the middle of writing, her phone buzzed again. The sound broke the spell of their creativity, pulling Sarah back into the reality of her predicament. It was another message from Lisa. Sarah, please. I can't stress this enough. You need to meet me tonight. It's important. Mom, are you gonna answer that? Lily asked, her eyes darting to the phone. Not yet, Sarah responded, glancing at Lily. Let us finish this song first, okay? But as she strummed the guitar, unable to focus, her thoughts continued spiraling around Lisa's warning. Who was this group? What was really happening with her account? The tension in her heart met with the rising music, creating an atmosphere filled with creativity and anxiety. It felt like they were standing on the edge of something significant. Mom, do you think we can really make a difference? Lily asked, looking up with hope shining in her eyes. Absolutely, darling, Sarah replied, her voice thick with urgency. But we need to take action. Let us finish this song and then I need to talk to Lisa. Just as they wrapped up the song, the final chord hanging in the air, Sarah's phone buzzed yet again. New message from Lisa. The chill crept back. Would this be the moment that changed everything? With cautious fingers, she checked the message, bracing herself for what was to come. The revelation could be just a tap away, and she needed to be ready. Was she truly prepared for what awaited her? Sarah's pulse quickened as her eyes scanned the new message from Lisa. She read it twice, heart racing even faster each time. Meet me at the cafe, 8 p.m. I can't send too much in this message. Just trust me. It's about your daughter. Her breath caught in her throat. Lily was at the core of this tangled web, and the thought darkened her heart. What was Lisa hiding? What game was afoot? Mom. What is it? Lily persisted, her youthful energy contrasting with the dread settling in Sarah's stomach. It's just a work thing, honey, she lied, hoping that would suffice. But a knot formed in her chest that she couldn't shake. Can I finish my song? Lily asked, glancing at the guitar. There was an intensity in her voice, an eagerness that reminded Sarah of the naivete she wished to cultivate in her daughter, not this looming uncertainty. Of course, Sarah replied, her voice shaky as she turned to prepare dinner. As she chopped vegetables, every chop felt like a countdown. The cafe, the meeting, the hidden truths crawling closer with each passing moment. Lily picked up the guitar and started to strum a soft melody, filling the kitchen with an innocent sound that felt like a shield against her anxiety. Can I sing it too? Lily asked, brightening the atmosphere. Absolutely. Just like we practiced, Sarah managed to say, though her mind was a battleground filled with worry, guilt, and fear about what lay ahead. Time dragged as the clock ticked closer to 8. Dinner was forgotten, the unsliced vegetables remained on the counter, all attention fixated on that meeting. Just before the time arrived, Sarah pulled Lily close, her motherly instincts climbing in intensity. Listen, Lily. If something happens tonight, I need you to keep making your music, okay? It's important. Why do you keep saying that? You'll be home soon. Lily replied, the brightness of the room dimming slightly at her confusion. Of course, Sarah assured her, kissing her forehead. But as Sarah pulled away, her heart ached. This wasn't just about fear of her own safety, but the safety of her child. The clock struck 8. With a deep breath, Sarah grabbed her keys and opened the door, letting the cool night air wash over her. The strong scent of autumn leaves and distant laughter from a nearby celebration reminded her of calmer times, but she felt distant from them now. At the cafe, her old haunt, memories of laughter and joy surged as she walked in, only to be abruptly shadowed by anxiety. She spotted Lisa sitting at their usual booth, looking more intense than ever. Her expression was taut, eyes scanning the room, a silent plea for Sarah's discretion. "Thank you for coming," Lisa said quietly as Sarah slid into the seat across from her, adrenaline pumping through her veins. "I don't know what to think, Lisa. What is going on?" "You're scaring me," Sarah blurted out, her voice a murmur above the soft chatter of the cafe. "Sarah, there are things you don't know. There's a group out there and they aren't just watching you. They're after something much bigger." Lisa's eyes widened as she spoke, urgency cracking her calm facade. "What does that mean?" Before Lisa could answer, a shadow passed over the table. Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, the pressure building in her chest. Suddenly, a thought blinked to life like a neon sign: the walls felt too close, the air too thick. Had her fears manifested in reality? Just then, Sarah's phone buzzed again. New message from a stranger. The weight of her world shifted. Who was this stranger and what did they want? Sarah's brow furrowed, a chill creeping up her spine. A new, darker chapter was beginning, and she could feel it whispering in the back of her mind: what if everything she loved was at stake? Her heart raced, and she knew she needed to act. What awaited her? As Sarah's heart pounded in her chest, she reluctantly pulled her phone from her pocket. The screen lit up, revealing the message: "I know about Lily. Meet me at the park. Midnight." A chill twisted through her, almost paralyzing in its intensity. This was clearly connected to whatever Lisa had been hinting at, but who was this stranger? Why did they know about her daughter? Sarah? Lisa's voice cut through the haze of her thoughts. "Are you okay?" Forcing herself to focus, she met Lisa's wide eyes, a mix of fear and concern reflected back at her. "No, I just got a message. This person knows about Lily." "What? No, this can't be happening." Lisa's hands trembled as she held her coffee, the fear gathering like a storm cloud in the cafe. "We need to leave." Sarah pushed herself up from the booth, instinctively checking the entrance and the patrons around her. "Wait. We can't just run. We don't even know if they're here," Lisa insisted, her voice urgent but laced with tension. "Do you think it's safe to stay?" Sarah shot back, desperation coloring her voice. Before Lisa could answer, shadows shifted near the door. A tall figure leaned casually against the wall, scanning the room. The cafe's warm glow turned ominous under the stranger's watchful gaze. "Sarah, let us just think this through." "No." This was urgent, deeper than any conversation they'd ever had. "I have to get to Lily." At that moment, the stranger pushed off the wall and began walking toward them, a menacing smile creeping across his face. Sarah's instincts kicked in, she grabbed Lisa's arm and sprinted toward the back exit. They dashed outside, the chill of the night air biting at their skin, a stark contrast to the warmth just moments before. "Where do we go now?" Lisa pleaded, panic rising in her voice. "We have to find a safe place," Sarah replied, her mind racing. "I can't involve Lily in this. Not now." Just as they turned the corner, Sarah spotted a familiar face in front of them: Mark, her old neighbor. He had always been a solid presence, a retired police officer. "Sarah?" She felt an inkling of hope. "Mark. I need your help. Someone's after Lily. They know something." He straightened, eyes narrowing as he scanned the quiet street. "Let us move. Get to my place. You're safe there," he urged, ushering them toward his home just a couple of blocks away. As they walked quickly, Sarah felt as though every sound was an echo of danger: rustling leaves, distant laughter, a car passing, all seemed amplified and threatening. Lisa's voice trembled beside her. "What do you think they want? Why do they know about her?" "I don't know, but if it has anything to do with her music we have to protect her." Mark kept glancing over his shoulder, his presence grounding them but also heightening the tension. They reached his house and he ushered them inside, locking the door behind them. "All right, talk to me. What do you know?" Mark's tone shifted from concern to command, the officer in him surfacing. Sarah took a deep breath, her mind reeling. She needed to tell him everything, the strange messages, the shadows lurking in her life, and there was no turning back now. But just as she opened her mouth to begin, another message chimed on her phone. "Your daughter is in danger. We can help, but you must come alone." The room seemed to close in, Sarah's heart dropping into her stomach. How many more secrets lay beneath the surface? What would she risk to save Lily? The stakes were rising, and the clock was ticking. Sarah's hands trembled as she read the message, her heart racing. The walls of Mark's living room seemed to close in around her. I can't go alone," she whispered, more to herself than to anyone else. The weight of every poor decision echoed in her mind. Mark stepped closer, his presence strong, steady. "You don't have to go anywhere. We'll figure this out together." The reassurance in his voice almost made her feel safe, if only for a moment. But she could see the doubt flash in Lisa's eyes, and it made her stomach churn. "No. You don't understand," Sarah replied, frustration boiling over. "If they want me to go alone, that means they have something planned for Lily. I can't let them draw her into this. I need to protect her. Sarah, we're talking about the dangers that might be waiting out there." Mark pressed, his voice tight with worry. "If they know about her, then you going alone could be a trap." Lisa interjected, voice sharp, "But what if this is some kind of sick game? What if they really intend to help? We have to think this through." Clenching her fists, Sarah felt a surge of determination wash over her. No more thinking. It's time for action. I'll meet them. If I can buy us time, then maybe, just maybe, we can find the truth. Mark shook his head. "You can't be serious." She stepped closer to him, forcing him to meet her eyes. "I have to be serious. For Lily. Don't you see? I may not have all the pieces to this puzzle, but I can't let fear control my choices anymore." The silence engulfed them like thick fog, and Sarah took a deep breath, trying to steady her whirling thoughts. It was only a matter of time before the next threat surfaced. "Okay," Mark said slowly, his voice steadying. "Let us come up with a plan. If you're going to meet this person, we can't just let you walk into this blind." "I'll go to the park," she stated, more resolute now. "But I'll take my phone. You'll need to listen in, okay? Listen in." Lisa said incredulously, her eyes wide. "What if they hear you? What if they find out you're being followed? Then I won't say anything. I'll play dumb. But you guys can triangulate my location, and if anything goes wrong." Sarah's voice faltered, but she drew strength from their concern. "You'll have to come get me. I trust you both." The room hummed with tension. Mark glanced at Lisa, then back at Sarah. "All right. But you have to promise to keep that phone on you. If you sense something off, run. No matter what." Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of the moment settle over her. She held her phone tightly, the device suddenly feeling like her lifeline in a storm. As they worked through the plan, Sarah felt a strange mix of dread and adrenaline. The clock was ticking towards midnight and every minute felt like a lifetime. Her thoughts drifted to Lily, tucked away in their home, blissfully unaware of the chaos swirling around them. What had she done to attract such attention? And who was it that had pulled the strings of this dangerous web? When the final details were settled, Sarah stood by the door, heart pounding in rhythm with her racing thoughts. "Are you ready?" she asked, her voice cracking slightly. "Ready as we'll ever be," Mark replied, opening the door to the chill of the night. As Sarah stepped out, she felt the cool air wrap around her like a shroud. Every step felt like a leap into the unknown. "Be safe," Lisa called softly, her voice barely above a whisper. The world seemed to shrink around her as she walked, each shadow stretching longer, every sound amplified. Each beat of her heart echoed in her ears, forcing her to confront the reality of what lay ahead. How far would she go to save Lily? And what awaited her in the stillness of the park, where secrets festered in the dark? As she approached the park, the eerie feeling wrapped around her like a cloak. The night loomed large, and she couldn't shake the sensation that she was being watched, that every move was being calculated. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. "Your time is almost up. You're not alone." The message sent chills straight down her spine. Who else was involved in this twisted game? She felt the weight of the world on her shoulders as she took a deep breath, pushing herself forward. The truth waited for her in the shadows, and she was ready to face it. But would the truth set her free, or shatter everything she loved? Sarah stepped into the park, her heart pounding with every cautious breath. The moon cast an ethereal glow, but the serenity of the night did little to calm her racing mind. She felt exposed, each rustle of leaves or distant laugh slicing through the silence like a warning bell. The message loomed in her mind, "You're not alone." As she walked deeper into the park, the dim light flickered across the path. All her senses were on high alert. A shiver ran down her spine. Had they really been watching? Just as her mind spiraled into panic, she spotted a figure sitting on a bench beneath a lone street lamp, cloaked in shadows. Sarah. The voice was sultry, familiar yet unsettling. She took a breath, steadying herself as she moved closer. Lisa had warned her, but something in the pit of her stomach told her that confronting this stranger was the only way to protect Lily. "Who are you?" she demanded, the steel edging her voice more for her own comfort than intimidation. "Relax," the figure said, and the murky light illuminated a face Sarah recognized vaguely. "I come with news about your daughter." Fear gripped her, and she felt every inch of her protection instincts flare. "What do you know about her?" "Everything," he replied, a sinister grin stretching across his face. "But it's not what you think. We have a proposition." "A proposition?" she repeated, each word measured, thick with disdain. "What do you want from us?" He gestured for her to sit. She hesitated but sank down slowly, its eeriness pulsating around her. "There's a powerful group that believes your daughter's talent could be used for much more than small-town performances. She's unique, Sarah, a diamond in a rough world." "Are you saying they want her?" The concept felt heavy, suffocating her hopes for a simple life. He leaned closer, his voice low. "They could make her a star, but you have to let go of your fears. She could change lives." Sarah jolted, anger flooding her veins. "I will not risk my daughter for some twisted opportunity. You have no idea what we've been through." "Exactly," he countered, unfazed. "You fought for her, for both of you. But you're holding her back. To truly soar, you have to jump together." "Jump?" she scoffed, feeling vulnerability rise like bile. "And trust you just because you say this? What kind of game is this?" "Not a game, just a path," to amplify her voice. "You have to decide, Sarah. Are you in?" With every word, the weight of her choices pressed down harder. She thought of the whispers from her neighbors, their bottled expectations, fears creeping back into her mind. Was she truly ready to let Lily be part of something bigger? "No," she replied firmly, feeling anew the bond between mother and daughter lighting a fire within her. "I'd rather protect her and nurture her dreams at home than sacrifice her for something unknown." "Then consider this, the people watching you now want to take what's yours. If you don't act, they will." His gaze was piercing, and for a moment Sarah felt the icy grip of fear scramble her thoughts. That a sudden noise stirred from the night shadows, shattering the tension. Fleeting glimpses of movement revealed her lifeline Mark and Lisa materializing behind a tree, unseen until now. The grasp of their support filled her with renewed strength. "Back off," Mark's voice cut through the night as he stepped forward protectively. "This isn't your playground. See?" The stranger looked back at Sarah. "You can't protect her forever. You have to choose. Lily will choose her own path, Sarah replied, her words fierce and unwavering. Not you. Not anyone. She'll make her own choices safely. Your time is running short, he warned, before standing up, retreating into the shadows. This isn't over. The park came alive with sounds that seemed to echo louder in the absence of his presence. Everything felt surreal, and as she turned to Mark and Lisa, an overwhelming mix of relief and determination filled her heart. Mom! Lisa whispered sharply. What happened? Breathless, Sarah took Mark and Lisa's hands. He wanted us to join some group, but I put Lily in danger. We'll fight for her on our own terms. Good, Mark confirmed, his gaze steady. We are with you. Yes, Lisa nodded fiercely, shining with empowerment. Whatever it takes. It's time to protect Lily, and let her thrive on her own, Sarah declared, her heart igniting with purpose. We'll write songs that mean something. We'll raise our voices for everyone who has been silenced. She may not be on the big stage, but she will shine right here. Fueled by newfound determination, they joined together, heading back under the moonlight reflecting their resolute spirits, leaving the fears behind them like old, dust-covered memories. The horizon stretched ahead, vast and open with possibilities. As they walked and talked, the doubts faded softly into the night. Each of them alongside her, Mark holding stronger than ever, Lisa whispering words of encouragement made Sarah feel lighter. Together, they were a force, ready to challenge the world, ready to protect Lily fiercely, and maybe just maybe change it for the better. The path was theirs to carve, guided by love, trust, and the music that flowed through their souls. In that moment, she knew. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. Now, if you've reached this point in the story, don't wait not even one more second. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss these exclusive transformations. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and tell the world these stories matter. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this ending and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to be inspired today. Show your support and strength, let us uplift this community together.